damage.
I guess you don't.
And the Aphelios. The answer is you probably don't. And honestly, given what Excel have shown, given what Torx has spoken about in interviews and how willing he is to give his team these kind of picks, full confidence that they're going to make this one work.
I mean, I'm confident as ever as we move into our first game of the day. JDXL versus Astralis Talent. Of course, it's already mentioned Astralis Talent need this win to keep that one reality alive. JDXL already locked into playoffs, I believe. Do just need to win as many games as they can in order to keep up in those top 2-3 places, keeping the chase on for X7, who I don't believe they can catch effectively anymore because of head-to-head, but
X7 need one more win.
X7 need to win, and
then that's true. And then XL can no longer catch up with...
Well, no, because XL have a 0-2 head-to-head against them, so...
But if X7 for whatever reason were to lose... Oh yeah, no, you're right, never mind. Ignore me. I can't do maths.
Don't worry, we'll get initialize in the green room to get on a spreadsheet again. It'll be fine. But just looking at how this game is setting up, we've just got standard lines of scrimmage. Talk to me.
Yes.
That is your job. Contractually obliged to talk to me for like the next 5 hours. Don't give me that face. What are we looking early? What's the... Because I know we talked a lot about... Well, the desk talks a lot about this Tristana being quite aggressive as a pick, potentially.
Yeah.
Is that where I should be? Are the junglers going to want to get involved down there as well?
Well, you've got the jump in bottom lane. So, yeah, I would expect that Dance Pathing going to be very, very aggressive towards the bottom side. Can probably just clear away his whole top side. Probably still go for a full clear anyway, because he wants to end up on the bottom side regardless. And that's what I'm looking for towards Dan, to just get as aggressive as possible into Chrisberg, into Wendell. You know, whilst, you know, typically you would say Tom Kench, he's that kind of laner that can play very defensively and provide a lot of safety for his AD carry. The Gobble's on the R now, so you need that level 6 to be able to provide that. And quite frankly, it's gonna take a while to get there. It's gonna be, you know, 7, 8, 9 minutes almost until supports typically gain access to their ultimate. And before then, I'll tell you for a fact, I'm pretty confident that Dan and Kikis will be trying to dive that tower as soon as they can. And I'm very curious to actually track lane priority in general and lane stays on the bottom lane, just simply because, well, if XL start to stack waves into this bottom side, it's going to be very telegraphed for Astralis to read that a dive is likely on its way. And that's when I look towards Taxers, when I look towards potentially Krez as well, depending on the mid lane priority. Are they going to cover these ganks? It seems like the answer is they're going to get aggressive first on the bottom side.
Double knock-up. Kickers in trouble, jumping away. Will go into Bloplets, but I don't know if Zamalek's going to be able to defend. Of course, Teleport's not going to be used as a get-out-jail-free card this early on either. And it's going to be Chrisberg being given over that first blood.
Yeah, and actually, I think the Unleashed teleports don't even let you teleport to the blocks
no,
any longer. Yeah, not in the early game. But Astralis, they're breaking up the tempo very early on. They're making sure XL, they don't get the opportunity to stack a wave and then go for a dive onto the Aphelios, onto the Tom Kench. Great job. Very fast pathing from Taxa there. 3 camps into bot. Sometimes it can be, you know, a little bit unpredictable to expect that from time to time, as actually Zamalek forced to flash Wendell now in trouble.
Turn around, exhaust used by Tristana. Wendell going to be able to survive, but there's great health as well, so Wendell will be a little bit healthier. The Kickers and Dan are chasing forward, trying to get that movement speed, get the slow. Flashes on to the Chrisberg, onto Aphelios, who has to flash away, but we're going to catch both of them slapped together. They're going to
here,
but it might be a paper one. Wendell goes low, gets that shield. Taxa is arriving and takes down Kickers. No pass available this time, as the fight will continue. Taxa moves away. Zamalek dives on through. Will get the reset and dive on out. The assassination gets the kill onto Taxa. It's a messy, messy bot game. Chrisberg can't find the snipe to finish off Zamalek. And all in all, it's a 1-1 trade.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is okay for Astralis. I mean, obviously, they're up in the kill, but I'm thinking more about in the future now, because Chrisberg doesn't have flash. Wendell does, but I think Chrisberg not having any summon spells could be so dangerous if a wave is allowed to be stacked up, and that's what Astralis have to consistently do. Break up these waves, make sure they never allow themselves to be dove. Nice enough reaction from Zamalek here. Does chunk out Wendell quite heavily. Dan and Kikis, it's a bit of an overreach here, but at the end of the day, they do force Chrisberg's flash. That's the important thing. But I think this flash here from Kikis is just a little bit too much. There's no more fuel left in the tank, realistically, to try and find the next here. The Guardian kicks in, and Tax is still on the bottom side, because all he did was blue buff into that skull. And you can see the amount of burst damage that can be returned from JDXL's jungle, from Tristana, even from Zac in the early stages. It can be quite bonkers, and they do pick up the return kill at the very least. Now, Dan and Kikis, they're on the opposite side of Taxa. I don't even know if they know he's here, so this is going to be a potential counter gank. Oh no!
Diving right back in. You know what? That's not where you want to be. Kikis will miss the elastic arm, but Tax goes down nonetheless. Eminez hanging topside. Not It's just a bit unlucky, isn't it?
It's a horror game for Taxa. You take the Q to your own chicken, she's like, oh nice, alright, this gang didn't work out, I'm gonna go farm up. That's just a random Zac. Fully bear waiting on my jungle camp, why? But good movement from Dan and Kikis. It's something that we see from them so frequently, pairing up together, moving anywhere on the map. And this time, it just so happened to be on the enemy red side chicken camp, where they pick up Taxa and the majority of that camp. And now Dan can path all the way down to the bottom side. I assume priority can be held here by Zamalek and Kikis, and then they can look potentially to start up an early dragon if that's what they so wish. But this wave, actually, it's going to stack quite heavily for Astralis. So this is maybe a window for Taxa to either make a dive work or ensure that Dan doesn't get a very free gank here on the bottom side.
I mean, you called it perfectly when you were talking about the bot lane being where it's at, because that's been where most plays are. Asterisk, not including the chickens, of course, where Taxa got jump scared badly. He's thankful he's not playing in VR right now, because that's absolutely terrifying.
Could you imagine playing Lee Sin in VR?
It's just a black screen.
Oh my god. Well, you're not wrong.
I mean, Astralis seem to have the run of lane right now, moving up towards Dragon, where Taxa is waiting to get this one going. Mountain Dragon to start us up, always a pleasant one to get going. Having those a couple of resistances early when you're into aggressive champions that want to be pushing you in, especially someone like the Tristana, is actually pretty nice, because you're going to be able to survive a little bit more effectively. Kikis is hanging around the back of the pit. Remember, folks, if you're just joining us, this isn't jungle Zac, it's support. So he's not going to have smite for the steal away and doesn't even attempt to do anything as Taxa secures the first neutral objective of the game. Rift Herald up in a minute as well, so keep your eyes peeled on the top side of the map.
So many pings.
They want to go in though. Abyssal Voyage will knock up Dan. He's called out 3v1 and simple as that. Chrisberg with another. 2 kills already on the Aphelios. Astralis out looking pretty good where the action is.
Yeah, and I mean, this is very important for Astralis, like we said, to reiterate the stakes, right? It's 1.5%. I think they have the chances of making it to playoffs right now. They have to win every single game, and even then, it's just not in their hands. If we're to win later tonight, that's it for them. So this is about giving themselves a chance. And Chrisberg, 2-0-1. Over the past couple of splits, we've seen Chrisberg take over games with less resources than what we're seeing him with at this point in the game. So let's see what Astralis can actually do with this, if they can build on what Chrisberg has right now in his inventory. Across the map, though, haven't really had too much to talk about, because all the action has been on the bottom side. Taxa's going to see a chicken camp being eaten away here, and he's going to potentially try and turn away from it, but he's in the middle of unleashing his red buff right now. No Smite available either. So I think they're just going to watch each other take these jungle camps, as Dan, I believe, also ticked over to 6 in the middle of taking the camp. So all the less reason to try and contest it. Wendell did actually move up, though, so was looking to try and match numbers, but so had Kikis, who has that passive back up. And with the priority in the top side, in the mid lane, which seems like a very free herald for Dan to take here. And let's see if there's actually any kind of cross map that occurs, because it looks like Chrisberg has a wave that he's working with, but it's still a whiles away from the tower. Taxa's obviously in this bottom side river. Should see that ward, we'll see it eventually, but can get turned on potentially if Kikis wants to go over the wall. Well, it won't be the case. So there's no real punish here from Astralis for this herald takedown. No visible or tangible one just yet. There's a wave stacking, but are they going to make a dive work by the time that Dan makes it back down to the bottom side? I really don't think so.
Moving on through the mid lane, Crest has got RV ultimate currently as Wendell moves into an aggressive position. Needs to be a little careful, has support from Taxa and of course Chrisberg pushing forward, but there hasn't been a real cross-map play on that Rift Herald yet, so it seems like Dan got the investment for free. Of course, we'll have to wait and see if he can actually get any money off it, because we've seen in the last couple of game days, some teams haven't been able to make this first Rift Herald actually get any investment for them, which is not optimal at all, as Eminez styling around. I'm keeping my eyes on Eminez, because, you know,
it's Eminez.
Eminez likes themselves a good solo bolo. We'll have to see if he's able to grab one today on the Ahri. Of course, likes to play a lot of different champions as well. But our attention has primarily been on the bot side of the map, which makes a lot of sense with the way that these two teams want to play, as Eminez will grab himself a second play. But in the bot side, we're having a fight. Chrisberg in a lot of trouble, gets gobbled up by Wendell, who's looking to take him out, but he gets dragged back in. And there's Aphelios out of the mouth, but will go down as well. Picks up 1 kill onto Zamalek. Won't be able to get Kikis, who goes exceptionally low, had passive anyway. It will be the 2-for-1 exchange. A good one from JDXL.
Yeah, nice little play there from JDXL, and you can see some of the reasons why Zac can be so powerful into the Tahm Kench. You get the Devour in, you can just bring the Tahm Kench back as long as you've got another target to do it with, and even then, I'm pretty sure the duration of the Devour, you can probably hold onto Tahm Kench and then immediately smack them together as soon as the spit comes out. But yeah, not too much Chrisberg can do except just throw out all of his spells, and he does find Zamalek with that Infernum damage, so Well played to him for making the best of that situation. A little bit of an overstep, definitely, and JDXL, no stranger to punishing. Speaking of punishes, Eminez, no ultimate.
Going in. Kikis is there, but he's going to be kicked directly into Wendell and Krez, who get the damage down. Should be able to secure the kill, will be able to do so. As Kikis, untouched pretty much in that exchange. You're not focusing down the support Zach if you don't have to. And Astralis talent, back and forth game. They're matching blow for blow right now, and if you just tuned in for this one game, you look at the team names at the top of the screen.
Yeah, you remove the score lines.
You remove the score lines, you're thinking, this is probably a upper mid-table into playoff clash.
Yeah, and Astralis, for what feels like the first time in a little while, playing with a fair amount of life in this early game. Like we said, a lot of their drafts have been very catered towards sort of later stage.
Oh, little dive in the bot lane though. Zamalek going to get rooted up. You can see the Abyssal Voyage, nice flash from the Tristana to get away as Astralis, disciplined, decide, no, we're not going to force this through. Crest moves back towards the mid lane, and the play peters out.
Yeah, but I've got to say, Wendell quite lucky there that Kickers couldn't get into range of Crest, because if he dragged them back underneath the tower, I think that's flash at the very least. As Herald's been dropped here in the mid lane, but Crest is already rotated up, and so has Wendell.
Could be a 2v2, grabs himself the Volibear ultimate, dunking it down, getting a lot of damage down onto the Volibear. The charge comes through, but there's going to be the first kill of the fight as Dan falls. Crest survives and will be able to save his own tower mid. Only a couple more auto attacks will bring it down, and they've got 2 minutes to get the plates off it, but it looks like Taxa wants to go in onto Eminez, won't be able to find it. Kryze has moved on down, throwing bombs, slowing people up. And you know what? That's a lot of damage coming out of Eminez.
I've just realized something. This is ADR mid.
People need to stop listening to Nymera, right? Public service announcement, stop it.
All right.
Also Akarom.
Also Akarom.
It was him first.
Because I remember I saw Eminez throw out a combo not too long ago, and it felt like the combo itself didn't deal as much damage as I'm accustomed to seeing Ari doing. It's because he's got lethal tempo, and of course, Noob Quiver, Berserker's Greaves, they're looking for it. The AD build Eminez. So let's see how it scales, really. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a why situation, but I think when you sort of take a step back and you say, look how much magic damage our comp actually does.
Yeah.
I can understand wanting to balance it out a little more. So I'm not gonna fault the thought process itself, but
you still can, though.
I understand the theory of it, so I'm not gonna go particularly too hard on it. Now Kikis in the mid lane, they're gonna turn the tower off.
Looking for it, the tower's turned off. It's also really, really low. They're gonna keep him locked in place. Crest needs to be careful. Taxa diving on through, giving the shield. Wants to re-engage. Abyssal Void lands onto one. It is Dan. Taxa gonna keep him alive, kicking him away under tower once again, and this time it's turned on. And that'll be a double kill going over to the Silas. Dan and Eminez both fall. Astralis talent, stalwart defense.
Yeah, more than that, honestly. Astralis doing an excellent job of punishing wherever XL seem to be going at this moment in time. And again, it's just kind of, what's the play even realistically for? The wave's not underneath the tower. The tower's quite low. I mean, honestly, once you realize you're not going to kill Krez, maybe just turn to execute the tower. I mean, it's maybe 3-4 autos between the two, but even at that point, they're already overextended to make that happen. And yeah, Astralis here, kick by Taxa is great to put Dan underneath the tower to ensure that they secure 2 kills, and both of them go on to the Silas, who's 301 now. Lost chapter 300 gold bounty. Probably going to be pretty close to picking up that first core item, and second dragon has also been picked up here by Astralis. Will be confirmed right
Don't count your
now.
They hatch.
Yeah.
Taxa doesn't want to smite it.
No, he doesn't have smite, so yeah. But yeah, second dragon, that's going to be Infernal Dragon as well, which, you know, it puts a bit of an artificial timer on the game where you don't want to have to deal with, you know, an Infernal Soul team pretty much, period.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And JDXL are now going to have to put themselves in a position over the next 5 minutes where they are capable of contesting. And
are they capable of contesting now? Not necessarily winning a big fight as Crest is actually going to get auto-attacked a lot. The Abyssal Voyage comes on through, knocks up Ari, and there's really nowhere for her to go as Taxa takes the kill. Okay, maybe they're not able to fight without Eminez, but how far behind are they?
I mean, obviously you can take a look at the gold and say not that much, but you have to kind of think about the state of the game.
Side, Chris needs to be careful. JDXL with the kill in top side. There will be a teleport coming through from Carlson, who's looking to take down Kiggers. He's got the ultimate running from Zillion, but Wendell's here too, so it'll be 2v1 as the rest of JDXL needs to be careful. Crest and Taxa moving up as well. Kiggers will actually be able to jump away. Tries dodging away. Dan gets the flash. Taxa misses, but it looks like Kress is following through, getting the damage down as much as he possibly can. One more order should be enough, but Zillion is just too quick. Dan goes over the wall. Zamalek's there. Could he look to try and get some damage and try and get some resets, putting the damage into Silas? Jumps over the wall, but it's 3v1 because the rest of the team is just too low to help. They're moving on forward. Nice exhaust, but that's a nice ultimate to keep Taxa alive from Kress. He's getting rooted up though, eaten up by Wendell. This Lee Sin is immortal. Charm onto the target. I don't think he's going to be too long for this world. Nice shield as Carlson is here. He's full health on the Gwen. Eminez dives on through. He died at the beginning of this play, and he's back now as Astralis decide to cut their losses and leave. Close stuff, but I don't actually think there was a kill in the top side.
No, that started with... Oh no, did JDXL pick one up? That was such a long exchange.
They got Chrisberg on the dive.
Yeah, they got Chrisberg on the dive. This started technically from mid lane with Eminez dying all the way up to somewhere in between the tier 1 and tier 2 top lane towers of JDXL. And it's just so much utility between the two teams being shared that no one's actually able to go down. A lot of mobility as well between so many of these champions. Kikis somehow escaped the top side and managed to make his way back behind the Baron pit into absolutely bonkers skirmish. But somehow, like we said, no one actually dies, but the end result is still they eventually do get that Tower XL on the top side, so I guess mission accomplished by the end of it.
In the loosest sense of the term, probably, but JDXL, they've got 2.5 minutes before this next dragon spawns up, and as you're saying, this dragon is more likely to warp the game around it than we see from your clouds and your mountains, your less fun dragons.
Exactly, and as we approach the 90-second mark, I'm going to hold this point. Dan's getting caught out here.
And he's pretty tanky, but it's 2v1, and losing him now, not the best time. The ultimate coming on through from Crest, but we're stolen away. Resurrection on the volley bear, and the bombs are keeping him safe, but he's only going to have to dive away with his ultimate. Abyssal Watch over the wall won't knock him up, but it keeps Wendell in play. The slow onto Cries, but it's not going to be enough for the actual chase. The Zillion being a complete nuisance, if nothing else, as he's getting a bit more damage down onto Wendell. Kick is on the top side. We could see a re-engage here, but no, he decides he's not really tanky enough for that one as he backs away. But it feels like these two teams still want to be fighting, as we see Taxa jumping forward, can't quite find Zamalek, and will back away again. The threat of a fight, but nothing really.
Yeah, and I have to say, whilst XL games, they're typically very bloody.
Yes.
I think that's very safe to say, but it feels like they're very orchestrated. The XL, sort of gladiator matches that we end up getting, especially in the early game. But this feels a little more disjointed than I think we're typically used to seeing from XL. But Astralis, they're going blow for blow. They are punishing these oversteps when they do happen. Now let's talk about this third dragon, because I think realistically, when he was taking a look at the items a moment ago, they're really, they're at parity, yes, but we've got ADR in the game. So how does the spikes work for this champion? Because I'm not Nymera. Unfortunately, I don't have the exact stats.
We call him up.
We could get him on the dial-up. Maybe get him on a cool cast. But, if this was an Ahri with, Luden's Sork boots and maybe like what's the, the component for the Void Staff or something like that, you know how much damage that champion's going to do. This is about getting all attacks in, damage over time from JDXL. I don't really think that when you put them one-to-one next to the champions of Astralis at the moment, that they're realistically stronger. They're going to have to lean on a lot of the utility and the CC that they have. And so far, they haven't been playing as a cohesive unit. So if that's not in check for this fight, I feel like this is one that Astralis can walk over quite easily and with very little difficulty. But Astralis, we've seen them slip up quite a bit this split, so let's see if they can keep the pace that they've been building up so far into this fight.
Oh, can they stop Riptide getting the charge as Kikis looking for the engage? The tower goes down, Kikis goes low. Wendell on the side, nice snipe ultimate, and that Zillion ult burned onto the Zac once again. So that's not going to be available if this fight re-engages, and not going to be available for this Infernal Dragon. Astralis health bars, by and large, pretty good. JDXL, full health, except for Kikis, who's going to have to go back to base, doesn't have teleport, so won't be involved any further in this play. Question is, can Dan go for a steal? Are they just going to try and 50-50? Yes, of course. They've got Lee Sin on the back. Dan moving on forward. Massive stun onto free, but the kick away will secure the Dragon for Astralis talent. They're diving on forward. Want to get on Cries. Remember, no ultimate to keep him alive, as Dan has the ult over the wall to get himself out. Wendell chases forward, but decides that they've already got the kill. They've already got the objective. Why would they need to go for more?
Yeah, exactly. And Astralis right now, one dragon away from Infernal Soul, and that could put a lot of pressure on this JDXL side. A lot more pressure than is already put down. Even if you just take a look at the scoreboards, the threats are very clear. Taxa, Krez, Chrisberg coming online very shortly, quite close to making it to the 2-item mark. JDXL needs to get their act together if they want to take down this Astralis side right now, because as things stand, it's Astralis that are in, you know, more in uniform with one another.
Do you know what is the worst thing about this? If Astralis talent can close out this game, it will mean that Gulborg correctly predicted the hit rate, and the rest of us got it wrong.
That is true, but I think we also have to talk about, you know, the repercussions of this for JDXL, because this isn't even necessarily a game that XL can realistically afford to lose. I mean, yes, they do have that. I think it's only a 1-game buffer though between
for Bifrost.
For Bifrost, and Bifrost, yes, they do play X7 later today, but do you really want to give Bifrost the opportunity to potentially take away that second spot from you?
If you're losing to a team near the bottom of the table as well, not even just looking at this game, looking forward to the next week.
Yeah.
There are teams like Veneer and Dusty who might try and press you pretty hard. Of course, Bifrost have a rough game today, but they could. We've seen them beat X7 before because they're the only team that has done it so far. Suddenly, XL maybe in threat of losing top 2. Of course, they haven't lost this game yet, but Eminez might be about to lose his life charm. But again, it's the auto attacks that need to do damage. He's turning it around onto Tax, who gets the kick, gets the damage, but nice respawn from Cries will keep Eminez fighting full health. Goes on the tower looking for the Lee Sin, who's trying to dive away, misses the Sonic Wave, but won't matter too much as Lily goes down. They've started up Baron on the top side, but they've lost both of their members. Bot, I don't know if Astralis are expecting this one, but they've got Crest in the area. He already knows what's going on, so he's going to try and defend this one 3v1. Grabs the volley roll, which could be pretty big. He's going to go golden as well. He's bought enough time for Chrisberg and Wendell to turn up and say, why are you doing this? The re-engage coming on through. No stuns, but a slow. There's the chains, there's the damage.
Over the
Crest
wall.
moving forward. Carlson over the wall, as you mentioned, but the blast cone will see the rest of JDXL out. Crest can't find the re-engage over the wall next to Gromp.
Oh, Dan
steps forward. I don't know what you were doing there, Dan, but he's going to go down.
And this is a Baron.
This is a Baron. That's the correct decision.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Baron that will go down for sure. Astralis will take this one quite comfortably. And it starts to get to a point where you just kind of have to ask questions of JDXL at the moment. I think definitely very, very sloppy across the board. And Astralis just continue to punish. And they're doing an excellent job of doing that right now, as they're going to go back to base. And 2 minutes away from this Infernal Soul. It's not slow point. It's not as if, you know, JDXL picked up a dragon amongst all of this. They didn't. So it's mind-boggling to see this XL come out. Now, maybe they're here to have fun. Who knows? They are making the rest of the games for today a little spicy. And I think even if you look towards, you know, their games next week, Eminem, and then Riddle, it's a fairly easy-ish way to close out the split, including what was expected from this game.
This is the thing, right?
They still can't afford to drop these games necessarily. Krez, Eminez.
Damage down, but it's 2v1, and Krez now has Ari's ultimate. And do you know what? Krez is going to use the ultimate better than Ari is, because he's actually got AP. JDXL are going to move forward, getting the bomb down. Only 2 on to the Tom. Kedju isn't that fast, but Kick is going to try the engage nonetheless. Takes half health and will be forced to back away. Tries to get the slap down between a minion and the Catfish, but they don't want to be mates, so they won't touch in that one. You know what, JDXL is sieging towards this bot side. They have got objective bounties live, so they are going to be getting a little bit more gold from these objectives. But I'm not convinced about a lot of what JDXL are trying to do right now. And it's not a case of executing, it's why are you doing this in the first place?
Yeah, I have to say, but I kind of want to point the light a little bit towards Astralis, because I think this is really great signs of life from them. Even if you can say and argue, okay, XL, they're very clearly a little bit off kilter, to be polite about it. This is an Astralis side actually punishing mistakes, which we've not been seeing them do, and it's a different style of draft as well, which we haven't really seen out of them. A much more mid-game base draft. Carlson's going to be okay because Gwen is immune. As Astralis, they're going to push into the river here and try and take some semblance of control, but Kix is going to try and break that up.
Dives on through. They want to get onto Carlson. They will be able to do so. Gwen is down as Astralis will collapse forward, looking towards the Zac. He's got passive available, so it'll take him a little bit of time to go down, but then they might look for the rest of the targets. Chrisbo misses his ultimate. Zac is falling, and Dan will be able to resurrect too, so they have to deal with the health bars twice. Tax gets the first kill for them, though, as Kikis goes down, Cries over the wall, has no escape, as Crest marauds forward. Snipe through from Chrisberg, won't land onto anyone particular, as Taxa thinking about it, but this is Dragon. It's here already. 2 members of JDXL are dead. They've only lost Carlson for Astralis, but they're still going to fight over this one. Crest coming back in with the teleport. He's going to have a full health bar. Members of JDXL cannot say the same as he moves around the side. Eminez is super low. The Dragon is secured by Astralis talent. and they're moving forward. Dan explodes in a field of fire as Zamalek dives away. Astralis are going to chase on, though. Wendell needs to be a little bit careful because he doesn't win that fight on his own, but he's got Chris Berg covering him. I think Zamalek is going to go for the execute here. Will he be able to do so? I don't think so, and there's the shutdown going over to Chris Berg. Dragon Soul Astralis talent, Team Fight Astralis talent. What's going on?
If a miracle run starts somewhere, it's got to be here into XL. As XL kickers, I mean, it's a good engage to immediately assassinate Carlson with the likes of Dan on the backline, but unfortunately, that's about as positive as I can talk about this fight for XL, as Taxa and the remainder of Astralis kind of just slowly and then eventually very quickly wheel them down. Krez is dealing so much damage and he's consistently being able to take away such powerful ultimates, whether it's the mobility of the Ari or the utility of the ultimate from Zilean. Chrono Shift, it just has too much power right now, and Astralis, they're just fighting with a bigger wallet, and on top of that, it just seems like they're playing a little more cohesively as a unit from start to finish in these fights. And that seems to just be the difference maker at the moment between these two teams. Infernal Soul now in their back pocket. Baron buff's worn off, but I mean, the gold deficit, it feels a lot larger than 4,500 gold.
It does. And that's because, I mean, you look at the Baron buff's gone. Dragon Soul's going absolutely nowhere for this entire game. Tax diving away. Kick is going for the re-engage once again. Chris Berg needs to be careful as he's brought into the team fight. Eaten up by Wendell. Teleport is going to be coming on through as the fight persists. Wendell survives so long. Chris Berg diving away. Gets a kill before falling as now Carlson's in the fight. Kress is here too. Taxa moving forward. They want to get Kickers on his own and they'll be able to do just that. He's got no passive, so he's a ball of goo. As Carlson marching away. 4v3 in the fight. And again, is it too little too late for XL? Because they make these plays that look okay now, but they can't win the fights.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one to talk about, quite frankly, as we will just get the replay of this bottom side dive. Kicker's doing a great job of finding the targets.
Yeah.
Honestly, our Fog of War quite consistently, and he does bring back Chris Berg, but again, the Devour gets used after the combo comes in, so it's just safety guaranteed, and you can see a lot of burst damage comes down. Chris Berg does drop, and they do find their target, but at the end of the day, without, you know, Tristana, sure they have the Ari on the backline, Charlotte still have all of their utility tools available to them, realistically, and they're able to just kind of back away, picking up 2 kills on the way out. So Astralis sit very comfortably, and now this is where I'll turn the spotlight back towards XL and say, you are technically running 2 AD carries with a Zilean. Will the scaling finally kick in once we do get to that sort of 3 IM mark? For Eminez in particular, that's the bigger question mark for Eminez, because we know what Tristana can do with items. Yes. We've seen that over the many, many years. What does an ADRE do? Because right now, Kraken Slayer Collector, it doesn't really feel like we've been seeing the damage be pumped out. Maybe it's because it's a little more subtle. It's not the same as, you know, Tristana dropping a bomb on
through and blowing someone up.
Yeah, exactly, right? Tristana, it's all about the burst damage that we get from those combos. With an ADR, it feels like it's more about that damage over time, and unfortunately, it just feels like we don't get to see that with all the healing and all the shielding survivability.
What I'm going to say here, and this is a hot take, so be careful, kids.
Yeah.
Eminez has looked pretty bad this game.
I mean, I feel like XL in general have just kind of been a little bit experimental, let's just say.
Kick is diving on through, looking for another one of these engagements, but this time around it doesn't come off. Chris Berg on the side.
Oh, Eminez.
Doubled up to survive. Dan is caught out, has to go over the wall to defend, but Crest following on through. And Astralis once again running over JDXL. 3v5 now in the fight. Eminez running for dear life, but Baron is on the map, and this should be an easy take for Astralis talent. I don't know what Astralis talent did between what they were doing yesterday, basically. But Zamalek moving down mid.
He's only got 1 creep. I mean, he's going to tank the tower, but can he actually get through the entire thing? I really don't think he can.
Zilean ult is evade.
I mean, it's creative, to say the least. They will get the tower, and they will crack open the base. So credit to Cries and to Zamalek for making that happen. But Baron goes down. Astralis are going to have that buff now, and it's going to eclipse the Elder Spawn, which 90 seconds away, realistically, in items, in gold, in experience, if you look across the board. Oh, JDXL going to be able to stand up to the Astralis side? I don't know. It just continues to look like Astralis are running over these fights.
Let's get some copium in here.
All right.
If JDXL can steal away this Elder Dragon, even if no one from Astralis goes down in the fight, they just get the objective somehow. Is that stabilizing for them?
See, here's the thing. I think XL are so far behind right now in game state that they might be able to steal the Elder and they might still lose the fight.
Oh.
We'll have to see, though.
Risberg needs to be a little bit careful, though. He's really the target. Public enemy number 1 as Wendell diving away. Tax is actually the first to fall.
That's big.
Astralis moving forward. I know the Lisa not being there could be massive with the Dragon up in 45, but he will respawn about the same time that the Dragon does.
XL have to reset.
Astralis talent. Need to back away. Kikis goes for the re-engage, not the reset. Will be blown up, has the passive available. Crest has to go golden. As on the side, Carlson putting down the damage that we know he can do. That's 1 kill onto Kikis. Carlson goes golden. The Abyssal Voyage comes through. Wendell just wants to put a body between himself and his top laner. Eminez's ultimate has been stolen by Crest. A lot of damage goes down to Zamalek. And with the Baron buff, the charm's good though. And they will take down the Silas. Bodies falling this soon before the Dragon objective goes up. Astralis probably still favored when that does happen. Hey, there's a jungler on one side and not on the other.
Yeah, I mean, whilst that's true, Tax is going to respawn and Astralis can just play time. I don't actually feel like they're at too much threat as Tax is going to respawn now. And as Astralis burn this down, all they have to do is just drag this up slightly towards Taxa. But Dan, no flash, no ultimate. He has to walk around the analog way. He has to right-click all the way around. As these junglers do make it here, I think Astralis, it's a bit risky to flip it like this, but I mean, if they feel confident enough in Tax's ability to win out the 50-50, then go ahead. Kikis is here though, and that's been the man to look at for these engages, whether they worked or not. He's been making these fights start.
I mean, it was Pancake Day yesterday, so flipping is the order of the day. They just got 1 day delay as Chris spoke before to teleport on the backside. Crest wants to get this fight. Maybe they don't even want the Dragon. JDXL are being forced to back away, and the Dragon now being burst, secured by Astralis talent. Crest goes low, but gets the explosion down onto Zamalek. He's 1v4. He will eventually be taken down, but Taxa moving forward couldn't get the assistance in. But Cries on the back line survives. But honestly, he's going to have to recall Eminez, looking it towards Chrisberg. I don't know if he wins this fight, though. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, the triumph!
With triumph, Eminez! Making me eat my words from earlier. But Astralis, they're going to move into the base, take down the first inhibitor tower. Dan is there, though, 2v3. Astralis might have bitten off more than they could chew. Looking to get onto Cries, won't be able to do so. Now has to go for the kick, and he's missed the Sonic Wave. He's battling away. Carlson is alongside, but Dan's full health. Gwen does so much, though. But Kikis bundles on through and picks up a kill himself. Astralis talent, no!
Don't lose composure now, Astralis. You are so close to starting your potential miracle run. You don't get the inhibitor, that's okay. Just be a little patient. It's all you need right now. You've got the Elder. You've lost out a couple of members, but I think they'll be okay. Excellent gobble there from Wendell to ensure his AD carry doesn't drop. And it just feels like XL, in this moment, they're split between going back for Krez and actually executing on the Elder. They eventually do go back for Krez, but they lose out on the Elder, and that's the bigger thing that they lose out on. And Eminez, very cheeky to sneak down here. And I'm not even sure if he did have vision to realize that Chrisberg was on his way. And what saves him here? He drops below the threshold, which I think the reason that Eminez doesn't die because he kills Chrisberg before the Elder animation starts, for one.
Right.
And then I also think for 2, Ari's new passive with the regenerating on takedowns also kicked in, and then Triumph kicked in.
Okay.
So if you're wondering why we saw that very brief red indicator, which typically means you will be executed by the Elder, that is probably why. So great job on Eminez to find that pick on the back end, and it does save them probably the game. I think Chrisberg is there for that push. That's it. As XL, I think it's safe to say they've pretty much staved off the Elder. Whilst they're still on a couple of members, realistically, Astralis shouldn't be able to get too much done with the remainder of this buff. And now we kind of go back to a little bit of a soft map reset, where there's no, mega objective on the map yet, but it's still, 60 seconds away pretty much. Just a little bit over that from the Baron spawning. And Astralis, they're going to take full control of this topside jungle. And I think it's pitch black for JDXL right now. They've got that 1 control ward, that 1 ward up by the mid lane, and that's about it. So they're checking into pure fog of war. Very shallow lines of vision to work with. But it hasn't stopped Kikis from going in. So I think keep your eyes on Kikis as we continue into these later stage fights. Astralis now in a position where with other drafts, which they've been coming into the game, they'll be very comfortable with. And I think even in this game, they still have the scaling aspect to them, as JDXL's comp, it's a bit hard to measure the scaling of this comp, admittedly. So I think they're still fine in terms of game state. But now as we approach the later stages, the game becomes less about gold, less about items, more about execution. Who actually ends up falling, who dies, who gets caught off by that one bit of sly CC which slips through the entire team. And all of a sudden, what you did in the early game doesn't matter. Chrisberg's been slowed down. That was very scary. Wendell was still there for the gobble, though. And JDXL, they're standing on the precipice of what has felt like defeat for the last 10 minutes.
But they're still in the game.
Yeah.
Crucially, and hey, if they can get themselves a Baron, it's just spawned onto the map and they've got a little bit of control over the entrance to the area. Again, Astralis talent now moving forward to try and take it away. Kickers has to go for the engagement, hits no one. Needs to be careful, bouncing around the back line, but has to be very, very careful. No one falling. A lot of bark, no bite in that engage, as JDXL just weren't able to follow on up. Health bars looking better for Astralis, but Chrisberg notably a little bit low. When you've got the damage that's coming through, we saw what Eminence can do if he's given a little bit of time alone with Aphelios.
Has the Bloodthirster though, and doesn't actually have Severin, but still.
Oh yeah, no worries.
On first, he's already back to full HP, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But JDXL, they're actually kind of out of position here. They might lose their inhibitor. It depends on how confident Astralis are in walking up, and the answer is they don't want to flip it, it seems like.
Moving back towards the Baron now and giving JDXL a little bit of time just to clear out house, get rid of those minions, as this could be decisive if Astralis talent can pick themselves up a Baron, and it looks like JDXL are going to move slowly towards it. Whether they're going to be able to get here in time to steal it away or if they're just looking to pick off members as the buff is secured is the question. I don't think they're going to go for the steal as the Baron is secured. Only 4 members from Astralis talent here because Carlson's on the bot side doing decent work on those mini waves, looking towards the inhibitor tower. JDXL, all 5 members are here. They need to get someone back before Gwen takes their entire base, but Astralis talent are chasing them, harrying them for all their worth. Zamalek has to flash away from Cress. As the inhibitor tower goes down, looks like Gwen won't be able to take anything further alone as the rest of JDXL moves forward to try and take her out. But it's just going to be the minion wave slowed up by Cries, but Astralis talent are here too. Remember, the mid lane inhibitor is bare as well, as that one has come back up, so it's going to be removed. Astralis talent moving down towards the bot side. They've got 2 cannons in this bot wave, courtesy of Carlson, and they could look to potentially put some pressure on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Elder spawns in 30 seconds too. So things will look very difficult, as it's just going to be a very fast reset for some members with the Baron buff. Chrisberg cycles out a couple of weapons. Eminez, don't step too far forward into the fog. You've got your team pushing in the bottom side. You want to clear out the supers, understandably. Astralis, though, they're not going to quite find the angle for that.
Chrisberg needs to be a little bit careful, but backs away towards his tanky.
XL, they want it now.
Yeah, Dan, that with the speed of light jumps in, but Wendell gets the disengage, and now Eminence half health. Needs to be careful. Taxa gets the Sonic Wave, looking potentially to start this one up again, but decides against as Astralis in the mid lane. Nice, but they haven't got time catch on. Remember, Kickers is jumping around. Tax goes low. Will resurrect from Krez's ultimate as the fight continues. Zamalek gets Wendell. Tax has the dive. Wait, he'll go down too. Eminez is doing a decent amount of damage and has Zillion
Chrisberg's
on him. So much damage. Chrisberg is dead. Carlson might go 2. That's going to be Crest falling. Resurrects. Carlson is cutting through the backline. It's 2v2. Zamalek's doing so much damage. Has the reset on the jump. Cries moving forward, but decides against. It's not a winning play. But JDX
going mid. They can't get the Elder. If they go for the Elder, the cost is just going to end the game,
I think. Recall. Lads, you need to teleport. Okay, Zillion.
He's TPing.
Zillion's going back, but he can't survive on his own. I don't think Tristan's going to take this dragon enough time. Remember, these are Baron and
Carlson's going to end this game.
Carlson's going for it. The back door in plain sight. There's one tower falling. Gwen's immune, Carlson. You can't use your CC. You have to kill her as the damage comes through.
Zamalek's here.
Zamalek's finally here. Is it enough? I don't know. Carlson goes golden. I think JDXL might have defended, but Cries is super low, taking Carlson away. Zamalek, he needs to get this last hit, buddy. Diving forward, gets the speed up.
Oh, Gwen's immune!
Okay, it's fine. It's okay.
Oh my god.
It's okay.
I saw that it shifted. I thought he was going to make it out of the auto attack. JDXL, by the skin of their teeth, they hold on.
Don't do this, JDXL. Don't do this to me. Don't give me hope. Don't give me hope, JDXL. Nexus is bare. The inhibitors are all gone.
Zamalek didn't even finish the Elder, so Astralis, they're in position here, but they're missing Carlson. The supers, they're pushing in some of the lanes here, the mid and the bottom side, but XL, they're here to match the numbers. Eminence is in base though, so this is still effectively a 4v4 at the end of the day. Eminence has to make it back over here to make this a numbers advantage for JDXL. Chrisberg is alive, he's got flash, should have Gale Force. Kickers is looking for it again.
Oh, he's thinking about the engage, will go for it. Chrisberg has been caught out, members are diving on top of him. Will he survive? Wendell gets the eat up this time around. Zamalek is respawning, Kickers goes low, will be taken down. First victim of the fight. Nice stun coming through from Crest. They managed to get on Zamalek, he's dead this time. And just like that, Astralis can look to turn their attention towards this dragon. Will it be stolen? It would have to be in this game. Teleport is coming through into the bot side, secured by Astralis talent. As Wendell needs to be a little bit careful, goes low, Eminence goes in, goes out. out, gets the catfish on the way through. But now Carlton's actually the base again.
Okay.
Going through. It's Astralis talent. This time around, the back door will come off. They made us wait for it. Astralis talent